close the deal, baby. Let's go. I get so good with people, I can say whatever the hell I want to. I see. Let's go. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing tonight? What's going on?
How y'all doing? Look, you got a movement over there. It's our turn. That's the movement.
It's our turn, baby. Let's go. Where y'all at, baby? Hey, it's about to be lit tonight.
Columbia, man. Columbia. So let's give people like, man, 2 more minutes to hop in, you know, and then you can introduce yourself. I'll introduce myself. I'm sure everybody, you know, probably following to know about it, so they probably know us both. But y'all go ahead and give shots out. We got 200 people on here so far. Cool,
man.
Cool.
Hey, look, hey, Brian, bring them out. How's Brian? Bring them out. Bring them out. Let's go.
Nah, bro. Nah, appreciate y'all coming though.
I see them dropping that. It's our turn. Y'all drop that down there in the chat box real quick.
Yeah,
I see my people in here real quick. Y'all know what it is. Drop your city and state where you're checking in from. And the hashtag, it's our turn. We about to turn up tonight.
I appreciate the hearts, the love, you know, because we're gonna try to give y'all some things that y'all can take away and you know, close some deals with, because man, I don't know about you, T-Rob, no gas, but it's a different feeling when you see somebody else cash their first check, man.
Hey, look, that's the best part of it, man.
I can't really explain it, you know?
No, most people don't understand how good that feels, man. That to me has become like my main mission, man. Like, you know, those things make me feel great.
It sounds like, oh, yeah, no, it really feels good, you know, because I know what people go through when they doubt, does this work? Will it work for me? Does it work in my market? You know, all this stuff going. Then when they close that first deal, you know, I just know how they feel, so it makes you feel even better. So hopefully we could drop something on here tonight to, you know, get somebody either to close that first deal or close some more.
Man, we gonna, hey, look, if they leave this live tonight and they can't close more deals, they better get back and do the replay, baby, because we about to bring it to you tonight.
I always laugh at that little intro clip you have. I'm gonna teach you how to close more deals.
I'm gonna teach you how to close more deals, baby.
All right, so man, my boy Bruce, look, your boy Chris Bruce on here.
What up, CB? What's up, baby? How you doing, man?
Hey, y'all go follow Detroit Mogul, like now. He a vet. He been in the game. I've been in it 4 years. When I first started looking into this on YouTube, I seen Chris Bruce and a guy named Antonio. Before I even closed
seems like you trying to dress like me tonight, man. I see you with the red on and everything, man.
All right, so it's 8:05. We can go ahead and get this kicked off. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Tony.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Tony. They call me the Closer, man. I'm the author of The Closer's 21 Proven Secrets. And I'm just excited tonight, man. This is something that, like, I've been me and Brian been planning to get together for a minute to try to bring you guys some value. I have an auto background, so I'm all about the sales side of the business. I believe that knowing how to negotiate, how to position yourself as an authority and give people information helps you close more deals. So I just come with a little bit of a different ring into like the REI world, pushing heavy from out of the auto industry. So I'm extremely excited to be here tonight, man. Brian, you bring them out. We got 277 people on the live, man. I ain't had this shit all year. Let's go, man.
So what I want y'all to do, not, you know, for everybody else, y'all could just click that arrow in the bottom, and y'all can go ahead and share it with people y'all know wouldn't probably want to miss this, so they can jump on and know that we are live. So myself, my name is Brian Iregbu. Been in the game about 4 years. You know, wholesaling, creative real estate. My angle or my niche, you know, what I really just enjoy more than anything is the creative deals that other people feel like doesn't make sense, you know. I really like it because it's usually when the homeowners are getting all these lowball offers and they're like, no, I'm not going to just sell it for pennies, or that won't work because I can't sell it for that cheap. I really get a kick out of, you know, seeing how we could put these puzzle pieces together and make a deal work. Because I really believe if you have a motivated seller that's flexible you can always make a deal work. There's so many different ways to structure. So that's where I'm coming from. And I'm part-time for a limited time. We got like a ticking time bomb. You might hear a surprise and we live, whatever, you know, but yeah, so that's me and Tony. So we want to start off with how to cold call and negotiate over the phone, because we know right now cold calling is the cheapest form of marketing. You agree?
100%. I believe that's where all the money is. I mean, most of us are like most of the people that you and I speak to are brand new in the business, and you know, old school methods were mail. And obviously, like most people coming into the world right now, they don't have the funds to be able to mail. Cold calling is obviously the best way to have your entry into this business, and it's very inexpensive. So, right, man, this is going to be something that I'm extremely passionate about the phone. So, like, I'm ready for this one.
Before we start getting like deep into like some details, why though? Besides the numbers, why is like calling and talking to somebody on the phone better than sending a mail or other forms of marketing?
I mean, obviously, just for one, like the mail and other forms of marketing, the points of contact are just that much harder to, most people keep their phones on them. So being able to reach out to people and have actual conversation versus them seeing a postcard or something of that nature where they may or may not, it might be the wrong address, might not ever open it, it might get caught in a whole bunch of other mail. If it's a hot lead in a hot market, it might have 50 other people that sent that piece of mail. Right. So having the ability to reach out and have that point of contact and be able to set that appointment to start your process of being the authority and getting the ball moving for that contract.
And I like the part like you get in contact with them and start the process, because when you send them the mail, of course you got the return address, the return mail, but it might be, they may have got it. It may be on their kitchen table, but you don't know why they're not calling you back, what they're thinking about, how they feel about selling. You don't know anything, and while you're just burning money, you automatically kind of know what's on their mind. You already know their objections, how they're thinking when you can get them on the phone. So let's get to it, man. So how to cold call and negotiate over the phone. This is controversial, and I don't stick to one way because I do it my way for now, but I know that there's benefits to both. There's benefits to closing over the phone. It helps you scale.
Correct.
The guys that I know are doing super numbers, you got to close over the phone because you can't literally be in everybody's kitchen table. You know what I mean? But starting out, if you have not been closing deals or you haven't closed deals, I recommend you be face-to-face, belly-to-belly with the seller.
Correct.
So talk about that.
That's my opinion on it. I believe that the absolute best value comes when you get in front of sellers and be able to have the face-to-face interaction. I think it's higher perceived value. Obviously, you get the opportunity to swing more than once. So, for example, I know a lot of people who don't know how to properly do comps or whatever, and they start getting in front of the seller and talking about numbers. If they say the wrong thing, then it blows up the deal from the outset. So when you can get in front of a seller and have multiple opportunities to talk about numbers and at least get that second number to add them, or be able to see, hey, look, body language or something that can give you a cue on how to actually negotiate. These are like advantages that you get versus not being face-to-face. Obviously, I tell people all the time, there's more than one way to skin a cat. But I believe for most new investors, the way to do it is to use the telephone as an appointment setting tool and not a negotiation tool.
I agree. I like what you said about the fact that you get the chance to swing once and not just strike out. Because if you say the wrong thing over the phone, they say, "Oh, we're not interested," and they can hang up and they done.
Correct.
They see talk about that. I seen you coaching somebody and I was laughing because I was like, bro, that's so true. The fact that he said, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to get a lot of value from this. He said, yeah, man, I had a deal. I had a lead, and I talked to the seller, and we was talking about, numbers, and then I was trying to get in contact with him, but I couldn't get in contact with the seller. Like, I keep calling him. I can't get in touch with him. And T. Rob said, you talk numbers over the phone? That's why you're not picking up. So talk about that right there.
Right.
Why a lot of get in touch with the seller again.
A lot of new investors get excited because they think that they have a deal. So they start trying to shortcut steps in the process, and they started instead of figuring out true pain points and motivation, they jump straight to the money because that's the fact, obviously to us, and what they think is that's the fastest way to get their first contract and get the properties done. So you start talking about numbers over the phone, haven't truly figured out pain points and built value. So when you do that, if the person doesn't have interest, when you're trying to call them back and you think that they were extremely motivated and they were ready to go, they were turned off by your approach and your number. And now they're not going to, they got you on a do not call. They got you, they probably programmed you in the block list or something. So,
right. They're looking at that phone like, hell no, I'm not selling my house for $50,000.
Yeah. You're giving them a low offer over the telephone, and if they're not extremely motivated or a lay down deal, then that person's like, I'm out of here. I'm trying to find somebody that can give me the best value and the most money.
If you're in the house, they got to kick you out.
They got to kick you out. If you're in the house, you can at least get about 1 to 2 times at least. Like, but hold on for 1 second before we go. I just want to make sure that before this, like you got other opportunities to swing, and that's what this is all about. Like, I want new investors, for one, like, if you're already not confident in negotiating, like it's very critical to understand, like, the only way you get better at negotiating is by being in positions to negotiate. Like, you can look at all the videos and do all the other stuff and hearing the objections, so you can know what rebuttals work. You can know how to position yourself. You can know how to create value. Like, that's where the absolute best opportunities will come from learning. So I think, like most investors, and I can't stress it enough. I say, hey, look, it's all good. You can give numbers over the phone. Yes, you can get contracts. You can scale. But most of these new investors aren't even at the position to be able to scale. So if you're not comfortable, you got to get there.
You got to learn the people skills first. And when
Correct.
you start closing enough deals where it doesn't make sense for you to drive out to every single property, all right, now y'all start closing over the phone. But I'm telling you, the best of the best business, because you're not going to know shit about real estate if you never go in houses and actually look. You know?
Correct.
It's like, how you gonna know? Yeah.
Most people are looking up virtual wholesaling. Most new people are virtually wholesaling, and they're not even in their own market. Like, right. They're literally in their own market, virtually wholesaling. They don't even get out the front door and go and take the 20-minute drive to somebody that they can potentially make $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $50,000 in one session.
Like being a couch, a couch investor. There is a point for where, it doesn't make sense anymore. But in the beginning, if you're not just closing like that. And another thing, when you're in front of a seller, it's easy to build rapport. Because now 100%. You see pictures on the wall. You see pictures of their kids with graduation hats. You have things that you can start. Oh, you see the antlers on the wall. Oh, you're a hunter? It's so much easier to build rapport. Oh, you collect China? My mama collects China, It's so much 100%. Easier to, build rapport when you go, in person. So I like that. So what are the few things, some tips when you booking an appointment? Is it just simple as, all right, Mr. Seller, when is a good time I can come over and look at the property? Like, what's some tips on booking an appointment that you should look out for? So
I like to base my call on a couple of things, and I think one of the biggest things is trying to uncover the true motivation of the seller. So I want to know I think one of the most powerful tools, and I put this inside of the book, is, hey, look, how can I help you? How can I assist you to get whatever you want? Like, I want to know, outside of money, because I always try to tell people, hey, look, we don't have to talk about money right now, because money is literally the easiest part of what we're going to do. Yeah. Like, hey, look, if the property is what it needs to be, the money will take care of itself. But what I need to make sure is that, I can take care of whatever pain point you're experiencing. I can do it in a timely fashion, and I can get you everything that you need as far as information. So I want to provide as much information and value so a person can make an informed decision. People make decisions based off being informed. If they don't feel like they know have all the information, then they won't make a decision.
I love it, bro. And another thing I want to say, like you said, about one of the most important questions when you're talking to a seller is finding out why they are selling. Why they are selling is so important. And it's funny because a lot of them won't tell you the truth at first. Because they don't, some may throw it out, but look, it's funny because you could, no report built. Why you say, we just want to get rid of it. You keep talking. Look, real slick, throw it back in. Yeah, so it's a nice house. So why you want to get rid of it? You ask the same question, but in a different way. Yeah, it's been getting a little tight. We're a little behind on the bills. So you really want to find out why they're selling. You really want to, kind of pull that pain point out and really get that reason. That's That's one of the most
100%.
important questions. Why to
Hey,
sell?
look, hey, look. So in the auto industry, we used to always say buyers lie, right? Because what happens is the buyer comes in and they say, hey, look, the minute that you walk in, I know anybody that's ever walked to an auto lot, this is the first thing you say. Hey, look, as soon as the salesperson asks, can they help you? Say, oh no, I'm just looking. Like, who goes on the car lot just to be looking? Like, you're
I'm
looking to buy a
guilty.
car.
I'm
Yeah,
guilty.
like, like most people do it, man. They go in a lot. They're like, hey, I'm just looking. I'm like, yeah, I know what you're
Guilty.
looking. You're looking to buy a car. You're looking for a car, truck, or SUV, by the way, because I want to make
Right.
sure I take you to the right direction where you want to go. So it's
I'm just
important to know
looking.
like how to bridge that right into the next segment of the conversation.
Hey, Jalen, that's true. That's a golden rule in real estate. Buyers are liars and sellers are too. So just keep that in mind. So what they say, they say, I don't know, but verify. Trust but verify.
Trust
Buyers
me,
are liars
verify.
and sellers are too. Yeah. So I like that, you know. So booking the seller's appointments.
Say
So
it again, bro.
so you was on booking the seller's appointments. Another thing, I don't do it all the time. It just depends on the type of seller. And when you notice what type of people you are, because all personality types, and people give you little clues on when to pull it out. A little tip I like to do is upfront agreements or commitments. You know, I like how you do
Okay.
the who's the decision maker. You know,
Right.
I like to I do something kind of like okay, Mr. Seller, if I take time out of my day to come and check out the property, and if we can't come to agreement, are you okay telling me no? And get them to say, yeah, I'll tell you if it don't make sense. Because a lot of them really won't. A lot of them will tell you, I got to think about it. So
Right.
what I try to get that out of there, And if we can't come up to a decision,
those questions are what we talk about all the time. Is like
yeah.
truly trying to extract as much information like outside of the price, because we're going to have to get to the money. We all know that the money's going to come up. But like what you really need to do is like, hey, look, all the decision makers going to be present. Like, who else is going to be helping you make this decision? Like, are you looking to make a decision in the next 3 to 6 months or a little bit longer? Because what I want to do is try to box you into a time frame to know if there's a sense of urgency or not. If I say, are you looking to make a decision in the next 3 to 6 months? You say, hell no, man. I'm trying. Like, I got 2 weeks before, like, the house gets sold for a foreclosure
And
or
check this
whatever.
out. And they say, oh well, we want to sell, but we're not ready today. And then they say, so what's your offer? And I like your approach on that. You're like, well, if you're not make decision today, my cash offer, is really irrelevant because the market changed, prices change. I like
Absolutely.
that. Because what they want to do is they want to get your offer and they want to go shop around.
Hey, look, we all know. Hey, look. So I tell people all the time, like one of the things that happened with me when I first got, like I wanted to go buy a car from my sister, and even from my sister, I went and shopped around to make sure I was getting the best possible deal, man. So, like people are always like wanting to make sure that hey, look, there's a form of certainty that they're not making a bad decision. So that's why I tell people, like, when you go to appointments and things of that nature, hey, look, bring the comps, but bring the highs and the lows. Create some sort of credibility with yourself by showing information. And the more information you give to a seller, it helps them make a decision. Like, they want to feel informed. They want to feel like the person that they're dealing with isn't shady or trying to hold out information. The minute that you hold out stuff, it obviously raises their alarms back up again. So what we want to do is like take as much of that away as we possibly can.
Give them their options, yeah. And one way, I love to do with giving the seller his options. I'm sitting down at the table and I say, look, Mr. Seller, after I know almost everything, why don't you just fix this thing up and put it on the market with the realtor? I already know they don't have the money to fix it up. Oh, no, we don't have the money to do that. I can't do it. Okay. Well, you ever thought about being a landlord and just renting it out? You saw how I slickly threw that landlord in there. Because here, landlords just think scared, like, oh no, they tear your place up,
Oh no, all they're gonna do is tear up my stuff. I don't want to be a landlord. Or if they say, hey, look, you know what? I did think about that. Then perfect. Like now, like that might be an option for some type of creative option in the deal, some type of subject to or whatever. So like, hey, look, even when they say that, that's like ammunition for a later close. When you say, hey, look, you did mention that you wanted to have that.
look, because you didn't leave those options out and just try to go cash, and you didn't say, oh, I don't think you should work with the realtor. You just deal with a cash investor. Oh, don't rent this place out. What you did, you put the option in there, and they
give them the option. Give them the option. Let them put themselves in the box.
And after a while, they're gonna cancel out everything, and they just gonna fall on your lap. Like, thank you.
Absolutely. Hey, look, got him. Hey, look, that's the best thing. You put people in position. You give them information, but you let the information that you share with them put them in. Like, hey, look, now they're boxing themselves in.
Right. Lead back to you. And at the end, so Mr. Seller, I mean, at this point, I mean, what do you feel like is the best option? Then they, I don't know. I guess I should sell it to you. You know?
Absolutely. hey, people love options, magic, though. Right? I tell people all the time, man, people love options, man.
They do.
Like give people options. Don't just give one offer. Give two. Give three offers. Multiple offers. Hey, look, I'm going to give you an as-is offer. You don't have to fix anything. Matter of fact, here's another offer. You fix $7,000 worth of it. And here's another creative option, since you did mention that you'd be open to being a landlord.
Absolutely.
So I got some creative ways of being able to structure this to you to make sure that you can obviously get your needs taken care of. I need your initials here. I need your signature here.
Go, bro. Go. So back on that book and seller appointments, what I said, like, hey, Mr. Seller, if I can't come up with an offer that makes sense, and we can't work something out, are you okay telling me no? You won't hurt my feelings, get them to tell me no. Okay, but if I can come up with something that solves your problem and it works for you, are you in a position to make a decision today, Mr. Seller?
Today. Are you in a position to make a decision today? That is a trial close. You are coming for the deal. Like, that is extremely powerful. Ask them, hey, look, if all terms are agreeable, if everything can make sense, the money makes sense, the contract makes sense, the time we can close with speed, anything that we need as far as getting the property, getting your property moved out of here. Like, if everything makes sense, is there any reason that you can't do the deal today? Like, people love that, man. Like, it's straight fire, man.
Hey, you sound like you sound like Chevrolet, bro. I feel like I'm at the car dealership. Bro, hey, it's classic, man. You see it in wireless sales, auto sales. It's just, bro, you really getting people to commit. And so on that appointment, if I've already got them to upfront agreement, that's what it's called. If I got an upfront agreement that you will tell me no if my offer doesn't make sense, okay, or it won't work for you. And if I can come up with a solution that'll solve your problem, you'll tell me yes. When I get there, I took your maybe. I'll think about it. I'll call you back. I'll get back. I didn't sniped it. It's out of there.
Take it off the table. We're putting them in a position to make a decision today.
And it's funny, they don't like just telling you no because they want to have their options open. So what end up happening a lot of times, they tell you yes.
Absolutely. Hey, look, you
they don't want to miss out. And that's why a lot of them say, all right, what's your offer? So how much you'll offer me? So they can take that offer and they could go and see, well, this is what the guys offer me, honey. You think we could get more? You think we should sell it? Like, you want to cancel that,
Absolutely.
Because
and what happens is a lot of newbies think that, hey, look, I submitted an offer and that, hey, look, I built rapport, so it's all good. Yeah. I'm waiting on them to get back. And while they're getting back to you, they're reaching out to every other investor that's also sent them a postcard or called them and trying to see if somebody can get them a better price.
Exactly. And look, all they got to do is pay $10 more to you and be able to close and get that seller, close the deal and get them to sign. Crazy.
The strength is in putting the seller in a position to say yes if the terms make sense.
I love it, bro. So hey. This the best part right here, because we want to leave some room for Q&As. And we could come back to some seller appointments. But I think we covered like the main parts in that. But
Hold on 1 second, Brian.
Doing anything right now, watching
So
Netflix.
thankful for you to be here tonight, man. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
I appreciate y'all. Y'all can be doing anything with y'all time. So hopefully, we giving y'all something of value because time is a precious resource. Um, so how to handle common objections like a pro. This is the hardest ones. When people, they feeling confident going for it, the seller throws them something that they like. How do I answer that? Like I'm stuck. It's so many, bro. I'm going to start throwing some. Hopefully I can hear some in the comments, some objections that you hear that you never know how to answer. I'm going to start throwing some at you, man, that I've heard over the years. If you're paying cash, why do we need 30 days? Why you can't close faster? I want to close in 2 days or I want to close in 3 days.
I always hit them with something like, hey, look, excellent, sir. That's most of my best customers have that similar question because obviously, because it's cash, we want to make sure this property and everything with title and doing the research that we do our due diligence and make sure that obviously we give you the money that you require, but making sure we also protect the interests of what we're doing here as a company. I promise you one thing, in the 30 days that you have, we will still be able to close. We'll back up and give you all the information to make this decision as easy as possible for you. But the reality is that, hey, look, we want to make sure that we're protecting our interest in this investment as well as yours.
I like it. They got a good one. All right, so 2 I done seen that's comes up all the time. Earnest money deposit, not for me. It's been years since I got earnest money deposit, but I know what I'm going to tell you to that, and I'm sure I know what T-Rob is going to say. And another one is let me think about it. Go to earnest money deposit first. If a seller wants an earnest money deposit, how do you handle that?
Well, first and foremost, I think most of the time, earnest money comes up due to the lack of credibility that you can do what you say you can do. Agreed. So I think that just comes into being a professional and letting them know, like, hey, first market, I know what's happening. When you give somebody all that security of being a pro, then you're less likely to hear, hey, look, I need a high earnest EMD or something like that. Absolutely. That only comes from people that don't really handle themselves in the process early.
When they're not confident in your ability to fulfill, what you're telling them, they're gonna ask for earnest money.
Absolutely.
And usually 100%. The only time that they are not confident in you fulfilling, following through with the deal is when you come across like that. And the only time you're gonna come across if you're not confident. If your energy is projecting doubt or fear or but when you come across like a boss, I'm just playing. But when you come across as you're competent and you know what you're doing, they don't even think about earnest money because they're like, it's a cash transaction. We're closing in a few weeks. Why do I need some of the cash when I'm about to get all of it in a few weeks?
Absolutely. And then let them know.
That's another way you can actually, Mr. Seller, the earnest money doesn't go to you, correct? It actually is held with the title company, correct? And you're going to get all of the cash in a few weeks. I mean, can you please, help me understand, the request for earnest money? But you don't even have to worry about anybody mentioning earnest money if you come across competent and confident.
And then when you do have somebody that says, hey, look, somebody told me that I'm supposed to get earnest money or something of that nature. You're supposed to put X amount of dollars down. Hey, look, sir, ma'am, I appreciate you. I can appreciate whoever gave you that information, trying to make sure they help you out and have your best interest. With that in mind, most of my best customers typically, they do understand that and feel that way at first. But what I'm here to assure you is that because we're going to close in 30 days and you will indeed get all the cash at closing, the earnest money doesn't have an impact on this transaction. What I need to do is make sure we can start this process,
want for earnest money, but we buy, several houses each month, and we will be, locking up so much cash that can be put to use if we're putting it all in escrow for earnest money deposits, if that makes sense to you, Because if you got all these houses under contract and you got $2,000 earnest money for all of them, that's crazy, However you can communicate that to them, it's so many different ways that you could knock that down. But let me think about it. You can let me think. I think we already covered that, but
let me think about it is like one of the ones I really love doing because there's a couple ways that you can approach it. One of the main ways I share with people, I have probably about 15 different ways, but I say excellent. Most of my best customers, that most sellers that I deal with, start off thinking about it at first. And here's what I want to know, so I can make sure I help you in the best possible way. Are you thinking about how long it's going to take for you to sell this property? Are you like 3 to 6 months from making a decision? Are you going to be thinking about the actual dollar amount, or what are you going to actually be doing with the money that we're going to provide you at the end of closing? I want to know what we're going to be thinking about, so I can best help you move forward. Because all I'm here to do is provide you with information to help you make a decision. Like, it's all about giving them the information. So are you going to be thinking about the amount of time that you need to move? Are you going to be thinking about the money? Or are you going to be thinking about what you're going to actually do once you move out of here? Like, I'm just trying to position myself and give them all that.
How can I help you? 2 minds are better than one.
That's it. Hey, look, man, it's all about confidence. It's all about, being an authority. And then the biggest part about it is like, hey, look, try to isolate what the objection or what the stall is really about. Hey,
don't
hey,
don't let them hide behind BS. Like,
the key is to literally try to figure out, if you're thinking about something. I just want to make sure that we understand what it is you're thinking about. Are you thinking about if you're indeed going to be selling this property or not, or if the money makes sense? Because I want to make sure I'm not missing you over either. If you do indeed have interest in selling the property, I want to make sure that I can make the money make sense, because literally the money is the easiest part of this transaction for me.
I love it. Any other objections you think comes, frequently?
It's always, I need to talk to the absentee spouse. Like, I need to talk to my husband. I need to talk to my wife. I need to talk to my sister. Or
how you close that?
So like, excellent. Like, I always say excellent. I agree with them first. Like, every time, perfect. I understand, because when I make important decisions, I want to involve everybody that's important and into the decision making process with me as well. I know what most people do is they go say, well, let's call them on the phone. Let's get them on the phone right now. Like, I tell you that way is more like, I think it doesn't give you enough value. Here's why. Because when you're just saying, hey, let's call them on the phone, like, most of the time, like, that's not really the reason that they're making that objection. They're trying to create space to try to see if they either had enough information, like if they feel confident that you can close, or whatever, like the true, like, it might still be like they haven't been decided on if they're indeed selling, or if the price makes sense.
So really, the let me talk to my wife is really let me think about it.
It's a let me think about it. It's a stall. So what I'm trying to pull out is, okay, if you're going to be thinking about it, I want to see, are you thinking about if indeed that you're going to be selling this property, or if the money makes sense? So what do you think they're going to? Here's a powerful one. Like, if somebody says, I need to talk to my wife, what do you think your wife will say, sir? You think you say yes or no to the money? You think she'll say yes or no to you selling the property? And when people say, well, I really don't know, I'm like, I know you don't know, but if you did know, because if anybody would know your wife, it would be you, indeed, right? You did marry her. So I would expect you to have kind of an idea what she would say about this, right? So I'm still trying to pry a little bit, like, because most times guys will be so cocky, they'll be like, hey, listen, no, I'm going to make the decision anyway.
Rob a bully, you going to sign that contract. T-Rob ain't playing no games.
I tell people all the time, this is one thing. When I walk into a seller's house, they're on my clock. And the minute that I walk into their house, they're on my clock and they owe me money. And if my mindset is that they owe me money, once I get on that clock, I'm clocking in. I need my money, so I need to come prepared to be able to handle the objections and the stalls, because most stuff that people say to us really is invalid. It's stalls to be able to try to find a way, like, to get away from the situation. So I like to make them face it.
Talk about invalid. Oh, Bazillo says my house is worth $250,000. I understand. Look, okay, that's more of a joke, but you may have came across that. What about this? Well, the neighbor right there, they just sold theirs for $300,000.
Excellent, sir. And that's perfect, because I absolutely looked at that property, because as I was doing my research, I wanted to make sure I could give you top dollar. Speaking of comparisons, your property was made in 1978. Theirs was built in 2006. So there's a couple of differences in that property. And obviously, like, granite countertops and hardwood floors are things that you can agree. We both can agree that it presents a little bit more value, and understanding that having brick versus having vinyl siding presents a little bit more value. Wouldn't you agree? Like, wouldn't you pay a little bit more for having some of these additional things? And that's the difference between what you would see in this what they were offered and what we're doing with you right here.
I love it. I love it. What about y'all? Y'all got any more? We got 20 minutes left. Y'all got any more objections that maybe a seller has kind of stumped you with that y'all want to throw up here for us before we get into the Q&A? Any objections that a seller has asked you or has stopped you from getting the deal under contract and you didn't know how to answer? You was just stuck.
Somebody said, y'all should have put this on YouTube. We will do a YouTube for y'all, too.
I do feel like it was valuable, man. Hey, drop a flame. Drop the flame emoji if this is actually some good, some good content. Yeah. If y'all don't like it, drop the poop emoji. Just keep it real.
Keep it real. If you like the content, throw the flame. If it was some bullshit, drop that little turd down there right now, baby. Let us know what you think. Keep it real. You can't hurt our feelings, baby. Let us know if it's heat.
Yeah, if it's valuable, drop the flame. If y'all don't like it, it's trash, drop the poop. Appreciate y'all. So we getting flames, man. So obviously it's some good stuff, man. So no more objections. Q&A. What y'all got?
Hey man, so first and foremost, man, like, how's Brian? Bring them out, man. 400 people on the live. Hey man, what's good, man? Y'all know. Hey, look, where my people at?
Man, I love
hey,
y'all.
Look, we about to do a hostile takeover of House Brian's live. Where all my It's Our Turn Club at? Let me see y'all drop it down here in the chat box, man. Hey, look, it's a hostile takeover, man. Brian got a whole gang of people out here. Let me see that hashtag It's Our Turn right now. This is crazy.
Hey, Frankie, let's get this one real quick. How do you start off a cold call? So what's your intro? Ring, ring. Seller picks up or owner picks up. He probably not even the seller. Well, you gonna get
hey, Brian, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Who's this?
Hey, this is Tony, man. Did I catch you at the okay time?
Tony who? I'm sorry.
Hey, man, I'm sorry, man. You probably don't even recognize it, man. I was actually driving past your property, and one of my investors gave me your information. I'm looking to purchase properties in the area, and I was curious if you actually had if your property is available for sale or not.
Tony, we're looking to sell it. We've been trying to, do a little work on it. You know what I mean? So we could get it ready and get put on the market. We looking to probably get about $200,000 for it though.
Oh man, don't worry about price, Brian. Price, man, that's the easiest part of my job, man. I actually love this neighborhood. I actually have a couple properties that I'm investing into the area. What I love to do, man, is kind of ask you a few questions. I can see how I can best help you. Do you guys, first and foremost, are you working with like a time frame? Are you like looking to make a decision in the next 3 to 6 months, or are you like a little bit further out?
Yeah, so we're on the market. We're looking for a house. The wife and I, we just kind of outgrown this one, and we just had another kid, and so we just need a bigger space. So we're looking about 6 months, but we haven't quite found the one that we're looking for yet.
Excellent, man. So congratulations, first and foremost. That's incredible, man. What did you have, a boy or a girl?
We had a girl, man. We had a girl, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man. And look, I didn't get to be so fortunate. I got 2 boys, man. That's pretty cool. So it sounds like you guys plan on making the transition to a little bit larger property. Is that accurate?
Yeah, definitely. So what we really want to do, that's why we're trying to squeeze the most out of this one, because we're going to use the profits to try to buy a new house.
I'm with you, man. I understand. Hey, look, when I made the decision to sell my property, I got two little ones of my own, so I get it. Like, sometimes we can outgrow that stuff, but man, I promise you, like, one of the things I try to do is provide as much value and help people just like you when they have properties to sell.
You said Tony, right?
Tony, yes, Brian.
So, I'm sorry to cut you off, but are you one of those like investor guys that you guys like give people really like lowball offers? Because we're not just gonna give it away. It's a pretty nice house, and we need enough to roll into the next house. I
understand that money is important. Brian, listen, hey, the one thing I've never done is lost somebody over the money. Money's literally the easiest part of my job, man. What I love to do, man, is come take a look at the property, because this property is what we need. Like the time that we can close and provide you value is everything that I can possibly do. I know some people overpromise and underdeliver. What I want to do is give you some information to help you make a decision. Obviously, you're not obligated to do anything with me, but what I love to do is obviously take a look at that house, man, and see how we can make it work for you. Are you available today or tomorrow to get together so we can look at it and go over the details?
I like the today or tomorrow. Y'all peep what he just did, today or tomorrow. He gave them options, but he boxed them in instead of saying, when is a good time I can come and look at the property? Today or tomorrow? Well, today or tomorrow is not a good time. So that's what, look, Thursday or Saturday. Like, always do that. But anyway, okay, Tony.
Either or.
I think me and my wife will be home. We'll meet you there around 5 p.m. if you can come, and we should both be home.
Hey, I know you said 5 p.m., Brian. I actually have about 2 other appointments right prior to that. Hey, look, let me hold on for 1 second. Let me check something. Let me see if I can clear something up real quick. 1 second, please.
All right.
So it looks like, Brian, I might be available right around 5:35 or so. Is that a good time for you still? I know you said 5 o'clock. Is that a good time for us to come through?
Oh yeah, that'll work. Let's do it.
Excellent. Hey, so look.
So tell me something. Hold on. Pause. Teach and break. Why did you do that? Are you just making the role play nice, or why did you? Because I think I know why you did that. The psychology. Why did you?
So whether I got 25 appointments that day or I don't have anything going on, I want people to think that my business is booming and that I always have something going on.
And
so I need to take a pause break. I need to make them think I'm looking at my calendar or my planner, and I'm making sure that I'm making them anticipate and think like, hey, look, I'm dealing with the real deal. Like, I'm dealing with somebody that actually has a business, got stuff going on, and that's the type of person I need to be doing business with.
Those small details make all of the difference. When is a good time I could come and take a look at the property? Hey, when is a good time? Today or tomorrow? That's a whole totally different thing. You saw what he did? I just understand psychology, so I knew he did it for a reason. I was like, he's not just beefing this thing up. Let me check my schedule. I can't do 4:30, but I can do 4:35. I was like, he did that for a reason.
Absolutely.
These little small details make a big difference. So, y'all, man, appreciate that, Tony. Appreciate it.
So these are the things that you do to try to provide value to not only yourself, but like you bring a higher perceived value to the person that you're actually talking to. That person now is like, hey, look, I'm dealing with somebody that participates in the business, and he's actually got other things going on. And he doesn't need me, because most people, when they feel like you need you,
waste his time.
Correct.
How you segment your day made it seem like you. For me on the other phone, I don't know who you are. I think that you take advantage of every increment of your day.
Correct.
And you're not just coming over here to kick it with me.
I'm coming over to help you make a decision, to give you information, but it's obviously, hey, look, I'm trying to make sure I squeeze in time in between my already busy schedule.
Absolutely. I love it, man. So any more questions? What y'all got on these questions? We got like 15 minutes. Bruh, T-Rob, maybe I was postponing this live too long, bro. I feel like this.
I told you we was bringing the heat, B. I've been telling Brian that we need to do the live for like 3 months now.
Do you guys use the Deal Machine app? What? Yes. Yes. Before the Deal Machine app, you know what I was doing? I was riding around. This is what I was doing. Hey, look.
Hey, let's go, man. I see the book.
I was riding around. I would stop, and I would write the addresses. Then I would come back and have to look up every single one on the county.